That may still look a little bit and feel a little bit like winter, but the meteorological winter has come to a close.
Thank goodness. I'm Brad Sugden has more on the trends from the last 3 months in mid-Michigan.
Well, yesterday we recapped February and snowfall across the areas. Now we're going to recap the whole winter season, which for meteorologists consists of December, January, and February. So for Flint, look at that. We actually came in right on the money for average temperatures. The warmest days were in the 60s, the coldest far below zero, and the average snowfall was actually a little bit above average in the city of Flint. Now Saginaw, obviously, we've missed out on some of the snow that Flint got, so we were actually more than half of a foot below normal for December, January, and February. Temperature-wise, pretty close to right on the money as well. Really nothing notable there. Here's a look at some of the highlighted events. We had that high wind event on December 11th with wind gusts well into the 60-mile-per-hour range that had 200,000 people across the state without power. Then we had a pretty quiet January. We go into February for Groundhog Day, and that's when we had the storm that dropped 11 inches in Flint, much less in Saginaw, and virtually nothing north of there. That was Flint's biggest snowfall since January 2014 and the 12th biggest snowstorm ever recorded, and those records go back to the early 1900s. Let's take a look at seasonal snowfall as a whole total so far in Flint. We are actually ahead of average, coming in at about 53 inches, and again, we could still get a little bit more before the season's done. That puts us ahead of last year by about 6 inches now. Saginaw a little bit below the curve. Notice the seasonal average is 48 inches. Last year we were below that, and once again this year we're pretty far below that as well. Our cities to the north, we're kind of seeing the same thing. Now West Branch, not too bad. Pretty much right on average actually, and pretty close to what we had last year. Seasonal average comes in at about 50 inches, but then Alpena still pretty far below as well. The seasonal average there is 84. Last year we were below that, and this year looks like we're going to be pretty far below that as well. But overall, the trend for some cities, especially Flint, look at this. This is the seasonal or the winter snowfall for December, January, and February that we were pointing out. It has been increasing big time over the last, about 100 years or so now, especially after the year 2000. And just this latest round, our seasonal average was increased by about 5 inches. So this begs the question of climate change. We can see more system snow and less lake effect when we have climate change factors being put into motion. So basically, a warmer atmosphere means more moisture is available, so those storm systems can be larger, but obviously a warmer atmosphere means a little less lake effect as well. And according to NOAA, we have twice as many extreme snowstorms now as we did compared to the years 1900 through 1950.